I want to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you today from the lands of the Gayamaygal people. I would also like to extend my respect to elders past and present and any First Nations people watching. Sovereignty was never ceded. It always was and always will be Aboriginal lands.
Yeah, I'm reporting from Vancouver. This is territory of the Coast Salish people, the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh nations, and very grateful to be able to live, work, play, and today talk to you from these lands.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm here today to chat about Motherland Fort Salem, as I always am, and the series' brilliant representation of so many diverse communities. With me today is everyone's favorite unhinged teacher. To me, she is Motherland's greatest mystery. She's rarely seen outside the shadows of the Necro Lab. Her connection with Older only seems to be rivaled by one thing, and that is her love and connection with Mother Mycelium. I'm just so overjoyed to welcome the amazing Emilie Leclerc to be here with me today.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I was so excited when we got this locked down. So first thing I'd like to know, in your own words, who is Izadora?
That's a tough question. To me, she's an introvert. She's loyal. She's somebody who is reclusive, sometimes eccentric, and she will always put science first.
Yeah.
She's a truth seeker. And I think she really is an observer of people and nature. And then from that, she understands the world through observing it first.
Yeah. So is that what drew you to Isadora? Because I know that you're very into nature.
I think that came actually with season 2. At the beginning, we knew so little about Isadora, and we didn't even know if she would become such an important component of Fort Salem and that world. So at the beginning, I think we thought it would be 2 or 3 episodes, and then she grew. So, which I'm very excited about. And I actually started learning about mycelium and fungi through portraying Isadora. But my connection with nature and going to the woods and hiking, camping, all that has always been part of my life. But this, like Isadora kind of made me discover the world of fungi, which is very exciting.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, very exciting. But what I like about Isadora, I think, is like she's quite linear and she's a scientist.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's got this kind of, I don't want to say esoteric, but like almost this magical part of her that she likes interacting with, the otherness, which I think is super interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think like Motherland is a really, really great example of merging that like real world science with like the mycelium and what mycelium actually is, and also that magic. And Isadora really embodies that, which is so cool. I'm slightly obsessed with the character of Isadora. I think she's just so interesting. I love characters that are really like light and shade and really settle in the shade, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I like that about Isadora too, is like she's not, I don't think a character is all black or white. She's got this kind of, I think, you know what I mean? Like she seeks the truth and she goes for what she believes in fully. But then she will be willing to take maybe extravagant means to get there, like what she did in season 2, like putting Rael and in the gas chamber. So she can be a little bit intense.
Yes, it can be scary.
If you get her out of the Necro Lab. She can be a little bit intense.
So we haven't seen a lot about her background. That probably comes from her being sort of only growing through her being on our screens longer. Like I said, she really embodies the darker elements of Motherland so perfectly while being I think, intrinsically good character. I'd love to know a little bit about where you think she comes from. Like, what's her history? Even if it isn't, written in canon, what have you been working with to help build her?
Yeah, you're right. It's not written anywhere. Interesting. Like, I don't think she's the kind of person who would volunteer sharing personal information. I think she's much more of an observer and she's quite reclusive. But to make sense of it for me, I kind of like made a story up in my mind, and I think she comes from the Acadian people. Acadian people were deported from the east coast of Canada, and they were mostly French settlers who had great connections with the Mi'kmaq First Nations in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And then in the 18th centuries, because of the fighting between English and French, they were deported through different cities.
Yeah.
And some of them became, the Cajun, the Louisiana Cajun people.
Right. Okay.
So I feel like she is from a people that has lost their land and has come out of, having to move to survive. And then I think from her personal story, I've always felt like she had a sister that she'd lost unfairly. And then maybe that's how Alder connected with her, because I feel like Isadora has lost a sister young, and then maybe she was a bit lost at Fort Salem, and then Alder took her under her wing, like she did for so many other characters. She saw her potential, and she kind of invited Isadora to become more and more part of that science world, because she saw in her that she had she'd be good at that. So that's kind of what I've worked with.
That's amazing. No, that I don't know, unfortunately, very much about Acadian people.
Acadian. Yeah.
So it's but that in itself is a product of colonization, right? That I don't know anything about it. So I love that. I think that's such a beautiful thing that you have brought in, and I can definitely see that in the way Isadora has been played. She does have that sense of grief that she sort of carries with her, even through all of her science, which is so cool.
And I think she chose to make Fort Salem her home, because she never had, so Fort Salem became her home. And I feel like she doesn't have children and she doesn't have a partner. She's like really dedicated to science, and Fort Salem as her home base. So that's how I see her. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're introduced to Isadora in season 1, sort of through Scylla and through the Necro Lab. It quickly becomes apparent, especially in season 2, that her connection with the mycelium is deep. It is her life's work. How was that for you to play, sort of having your scene partner a lot of the time being a embodiment of mushrooms? And also you had such cool scenes, like the where you were in season 2 speaking with the mushroom head that had Rael's voice. Like, it's just,
that was very unsettling moment, actually. Like,
really?
because it was a gentleman who was wearing a full mushroom head made of like prosthetics. And there was 2 heads, one of which was him wearing it. So there was a human underneath it, and he was like kneeling underneath my my desk, and then like with his head like popping and moving his eyes. And then there was also a version of the head that was just fake, for certain takes. And I kind of forgot at some point that there was a human in there, because it looked so intense. So anyways, so that was really interesting. And like Lynn Renee was like so gracious and so good at like bringing me back, because at some point I laughed, and then I felt bad because the person in the head couldn't move, because they were all in prosthetics, and they couldn't laugh, because if they laughed they would move the structure of the thing. So I felt horrible. So thank goodness I had the chance to connect with the person before and after, so that they knew that I wasn't hopefully like mean, but like at some point I giggled because it looked like a prop, and I forgot that there was a human under there. Anyway, that was gonna sound horrible. But I mean, this is like kudos to our team, and the team of special effects, because it looked so good that like you'd forget. Like, it looked amazing. And the acting with the green screen, I mean, I love interacting with like imagining what it is in my head, even though the screen is all green, and I'm imagining the mycelium. I mean, I love going for walks and looking at tree branches. I get overwhelmed sometimes when I go hiking because it's so beautiful and big when I'm on top of mountains that I
Yeah.
start crying. So like that part was really easy for me. Yeah. Yeah. It was very easy for me because I get so easily overwhelmed by the beauty and the strength and how big and vast Mother Nature can be that that was okay.
No, that's awesome. Like I think there's a beautiful like divinity to the mycelium, like especially that mycelium wall in the necrolab. It's like it's
Yes.
terrifying, but it's also beautiful. Is it the fact that, as you say in your head, she's sort of come from these dispossessed people that does have her feeling this really strong connection to Fort Salem, to the land, to the mother that sort of keeps Fort Salem safe and keeps it alive?
I think there's that part of it, but there's also the part of it that the mycelium did not choose Isadora.
Yeah.
So like there's a part of it that she can't understand. There's a part of it that is the goddess. There's a part of it that she can't actually quantify, analyze, touch, measure, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's why she becomes kind of obsessed with it, because she can make sense of so many things in like in this world of Fort Salem, but the mycelium is there's a goddess entity to the mycelium that she doesn't really, she wants to get in. And I think that's why
Yeah.
in season 3, I think it's episode 6 or 7, when she wants to join Alder
Yeah.
and wants to actually see and yeah, be surprised and be enchanted by this ancient sentient being that she's been recording, analyzing, and loving for so
Yeah.
long. And then she still doesn't know, it's like she
Yeah.
still doesn't know the being fully. So
Yeah.
I think that's why she wants to join Alder. That, and also the fact that Alder, I think, has cared for her, and Alder embodies that part of the goddess. She's part human, but she's also part goddess. So
But like her connection with Older is huge. It's monumental. You see that intense grief coming off Isadora when Older's on the table at the end of season 2, and then that insane relief that sort of comes onto her face, the like joy when she's reunited with Older, as you said in episode 6 of season 3. I know that every character's relationships with Older is so complicated for different reasons, but Isadora, I think, as you said, her loyalty and her connection with Older as sort of a adoptive sister in a way, that bond is incredibly strong. What do you think has like gotten them to that point? And I just love to know more about what you think of that connection between them.
well, I think Isadora is not being seen easily,
Yeah.
and Alder saw her from the beginning and gave her the chances and the structure she needed to become such a powerful intellectual witch. So I think, I think there's that part of it for sure. And and then after that, I mean, acting with Lynn Renee, I mean, how could you not? She's just
Yeah.
like she's she's
There
an
are no words.
angel and a queen. I mean, she's both. She's such a wonderful human being that it's always been so easy to act with her, and we had the chance to have multiple scenes together in season 2, and then season 3, we were both interacting with different people. So when we actually got the chance to, when Isadora got the chance to reunite with Alder, it was pretty it
Yeah.
was pretty simple, like a pretty, was happy to see her again for sure.
I've heard from so many people that season 3, the set was a little bit cursed in like a lot of ways. There was a lot of, you know, with Taylor's accident and with, you know, a lot of changes. How did you sort of experience the set for season 3? Was it okay for you or how did that sort of go?
It was great. I mean, when we knew, I think it's like last year in September that we that I knew that I was renewed for the season. So then it just became like, oh, when am I actually going to go to set,
Yeah.
and there's an instance, and I'm not going to say when, but like we actually shot a first half of a scene one day, and then the second half of the scene we did a month later. So it was
Wow.
we constantly had to be ready.
Yeah.
But what was beautiful about it is like everybody understood, and like all crew and cast members, and we just wanted to make this work and make it happen. So sometimes I would get canceled for set at the last minute
Yeah.
or get called to set last minute, but everybody was so dedicated to creating this story and creating this last strong season together that it never felt like a wait. It was always like, oh, this is exciting because it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
And so is being an actor. It's always unpredictable. And so is, so I think everybody kind of went along with it. And I'm sure it was extremely stressful, especially for crew and producers.
Absolutely.
But for me, like I was always ready for my next thing. And
Nice.
if it's tomorrow, great. If it's in a month, great. I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah. You just
Yeah.
blocked out the time. Nice.
This is my life. My life is Motherland. So yeah, and so
Nice.
grateful to, yeah.
I think everyone, I am so happy to hear that you were ready for anything, because everyone is so stoked whenever Izadora comes on the screen. She is such a beloved fan favorite. I know
So sweet.
no, but it's true. I call her unhinged because she is sort of like the Motherland season 3 set. She is unpredictable, but that is one of the things that connect fans so much with her. What is she about to do? We have no idea. Is she about to stab somebody in the neck? She might be. I just think she's just such a fun character. Did you have a lot of fun like playing with that unpredictability?
I had so much fun playing her. Also, I mean, this is I'm really new to the world of TV. So this was
Yeah.
my first real big part on TV. And so I learned so much, and I feel so grateful that I've been given this opportunity. I definitely had this imposter syndrome. Like I was like, they're gonna find out I don't know what I'm doing, and like constantly.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, the more I listen to to actors talking about their craft, it is a reoccurring theme. I'm not the only one. But at the same time, there's like, I was propelled by this force and this love for portraying this character and for telling this story that, when I would get to set and when the cameras would start rolling, all my insecurities would drop, and I would just be there and be present and be so grateful to be there, so yeah.
Awesome. In
Yes.
season 3, I think we are given the best look at Isadora's range, that light and shade. Season 3 is when Isadora is the scariest, and I love that. That's so cool. So we're introduced to witch-plagued Penelope, who Isadora takes on as this daughter, but also fun new project. She just seems so excited by the unknown of it all. And there's so many fun moments between the new Penelope and Isadora. Namely, the one that I think of is them eating they're eating a curry, and Isadora says she's a bit heavy-handed with the spices. I cannot explain how hard that made me laugh when I saw that for the first time.
Really?
It was very funny. I think because it was just so, like, I'd say out of pocket. Like, it really, that line was just, it was wonderful. It was really, really cool. So like, how was it for you to play that storyline? Because it is Isadora's story that she's sharing with Penelope in those scenes.
Yeah, it's definitely Isadora and Penelope's stories for coming together for
Yeah.
sure. I love what you just said, though. You just said it's a new project that she doesn't understand. It's like, I think season 2, it was talking about the mycelium and how she doesn't quite understand the mycelium. And then, yeah, season 3 is like, oh, here's a new thing that, I want to understand and that I can't fully understand. Like bringing this human back to being fully human, and like making sure that she lets the dark side, she pushes the dark side away and then comes back to being human. I don't think Isadora has a child, so I think I think there's like this, I don't want to say, almost this maternal instinct and like this caring and teacher instinct that she definitely wants to to get through to Penelope. I mean, it was so wonderful. I mean, acting with Melanie is so great. She's so endearing and so sweet, and but then when she decides to like go for my neck or get angry, she actually like she's really great. I mean we had a lot of fun. We had quite a few scenes together in season 3, so we got to hang out, and she's wonderful. So awesome. Yeah, it was a great experience.
Who is Isadora's favorite student?
I don't know. I mean, I think do I know? I mean, I think in season 1 it's probably Scylla. In season 2, I mean, even though Rael was never her student, I think she really takes her under her wing and tries to have conversations with her about the mycelium. So, and then in season 3 it has to be Penelope, but Penelope's a project. She's not really a student. So
the overlap is there, though. It's if we're
hopefully in this imaginary world Scylla comes back and becomes my right hand side in the necrolab.
I think that would be everyone's favorite conclusion to their story. So we know, and this sort of leads into that, we know Isadora doesn't really fear death. She works with it every day. What do you personally think would be Isadora's ideal ending point, or where she wants to get to? Would it be reuniting with the mother and getting to know that ultimate?
I think definitely, I think that's where she wants to go. I think Isadora, you're right, doesn't fear death. And I think she understands that she's just one life in this world. You know what I mean? I think she can look at her life in the scientific way and be like, I'm just one grain of salt, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think she understands that. And then for her, I think she's going to strive to fight for a better world for everyone, so that, when she goes to the mycelium, hopefully that the world is a better place, because I think she does strive to be good and to leave the world in a better place, that as much as possible. Yeah.
Are there any fun behind the scenes moments from season 3 that you are able to share with us?
I think something interesting, I was really happy at the beginning of the season to see Luke Roderick was back as Sterling, and Bob Fraser as Hearst. Both were in season 2. They were back in season 3. Luke and I went to school together. So
really?
Yeah. Him and
That's so funny.
Him and I were in the same acting class in 2006 at Studio 58 in Vancouver. We both moved from the East Coast. We didn't know each other before, and we were in the same like conservatory training program for theater here in Vancouver. And then in our last year, being students there, we did Richard III. And then the school brought back an established actor to come portray Richard III, and it was Bob Fraser. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Bob, Luke, and I were in a play together when I was in my theater studies back in 2007 or 8 or something like that. So it was nice to, see friendly faces
That's so
at our
funny.
table of reads. And then, I mean, I had a lot of great scenes with Demetria and Kat this season, and they are so fun to work with. There's a lot of friendly banter between them. So there's a lot of silly dancing, silly singing between takes.
Good.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun, a lot of laugh.
Good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Kat told me a story about orange tape with Demetria, about her
Oh
blocking
yes,
tape.
if she did. Okay, that's good. If she told it to you, then, well, the thing is, they always wanted. It's like I felt like I'm the baby in my family. I have an older brother and an older sister. I felt like this when I was with them. They were always trying to get me on their side to make up for
Yeah.
them going against each other in a
Yeah.
friendly way. Yes. So anyways, yes, there was the orange tape. Season 2 was Baby Shark. I mean, Demetria kept singing Baby Shark between takes, and it would like get trapped into our heads. So there was a lot of that.
You're dealing with a lot of darkness in Motherland, a lot of heavy things. So it is really beautiful to have those moments of levity on set and then also in the show. So I'm really happy that you found that.
Yes, definitely. I think like season 1, I was just like so nervous about
Yeah.
making sure I was doing all the right things.
Yeah.
Season 2, I was starting to relax a bit, but season 3 is really where I got to actually not being scared of being myself with the rest of the cast and the crew. So I'm really grateful that I got the chance to do 3 seasons. Yeah.
If you could create your own piece of work right now, what would it be? It can be anything from, world changing, ending, hunger or poverty, to something very, very simple. So whatever you like.
It would be some sort of mycelial web going into the atmosphere, sucking all the carbon to cool down the earth.
Nice.
And then that same mycelium would go, to all of our forests that are burning down and heal the trees and make them green again. That's definitely what it would be.
Absolutely. I think that's a beautiful answer, and I would love to see it. We just need to power up that mycelium somehow. We can work it out, right?
Well, I mean, mycelium is pretty intense. It's like, I mean, I hope that we continue investing more research into it, but like it's such an it can be an anti-viral, an it could be used for antibiotics. It could be used to make greener alternatives to plastics.
Wow, I didn't know
It
that. That's
can
awesome.
I mean, some designers have started using mycelium instead of leather in some of their creations.
Wow.
Yeah, mycelium is now used instead of styrofoam because it's it's biodegradable.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you can use mycelium to suck up all of the, I don't know, the pollution from the ocean, and you know what I mean, and it creates new habitats for new kinds of insects. And so anyways, I'm a big believer in mycelium.
I watched do you remember there was a Netflix documentary or something? I love that
Fantastic
documentary.
Fungi.
Oh,
Yes.
so cool.
So good, very good. Yeah.
I love the idea of mycelium being the way we save the world. I think that, and it's not completely out of reach either.
It's not completely out of reach, and I love that Elliot brought that into the world of Motherland, and for the mycelium to be present, and also to be a source of source of maybe we can change the world with this, you know what I mean? So I think it's just so smart what he did. Really, I mean, I learned about mycelium through Motherland, but I just think we all should learn about mycelium.
Oh, it's one of the 100 other reasons that we need to get everyone watching Motherland. Motherland is and has been leading the charge in terms of representation on television. How has it been for you to be a part of a show that has done so much to showcase diversity in narrative and also in practice, also with the way that your sets have worked?
It's been wonderful. It's been life-changing. I mean, I spoke French on set. I spoke Spanish on set. I felt like everybody was so accepted for who they are. And that was very, very exciting, you know, and that's, I think, how diverse the cast and crew of Motherland was also has a repercussion on the kind of audience and how far reaching the show has been, you know, like reaching um to people from all different parts of the world are connected because of Motherland. So I think that's beautiful.
In theory, not if the fans get their way, but in theory, has been your last time playing Isadora. What has playing Isadora meant to you?
Oh, it means so much. I mean, I'm I can't think too much about the end. It makes me sad. I mean, but at the same time, I'm so grateful because this has been the best thing that's ever happened to me in my career. And I'm so grateful for that chance. Yeah, I was new to the world of TV. So I think as an actor, it gave me obviously experience and you know, like finding my way through that world, helped me expand my craft, gave me self-confidence that I can belong to that world, even though you know, I may sound different or whatever, you know, like it's okay for me to belong there. There are some shows that want to work with me. Yeah, and it's just gave me, I think also the message of the show and what it represents means so much to me and to everybody who was involved, so that it was a labor of love. Like it felt there was just so much love on set. Everybody you could feel was so excited to be a part of this magnificent world, that it's really making the bar quite high for all of my future projects, because I'm like, I want to work with dedicated, kind, wonderful human beings, you know, like all the time, because that's all I got for the last 3 years is like stellar human and like stellar storytelling, amazing, yeah, amazing facilities, amazing. It's so nice to be able to focus on just one thing as an actor, as somebody who's like I've directed, I've produced, I've had to write my own things. It's so nice to be hired to do only one thing and to focus on that one thing super well. So yeah, I'm just grateful for that, for sure.
Well, on behalf of all of the fans of Motherland, I know, of course, I cannot speak for everyone, but I will in this case speak for the fandom of Motherland. We are also grateful for your representation of Isadora. We are delighted, as I said, every time we see her on the screen. And we're just, so we cannot say thank you enough for working with what was given to you by the writers to create this beautiful character that just lives rent-free in so many people's hearts. So yeah, thank you very much for Isadora.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this. Yeah.
No, of course.
It's so great to have the feedback from the fan base. You know, this has meant the world to us, to have so much support from the fans, and that's something that I had never experienced before, because in theater we get applause or you chat with people in the lobby, but the support of the fan has touched us so deeply. So thank you to everyone who's been supporting Motherland Fort Salem and fighting for it.
Well, we all know that the Motherland fans are just the best and the loudest. They have the hashtags trending on Twitter nearly every day. They've been fighting so hard for the show to get moved to streaming for a season 4. I don't think they're going to stop anytime soon. Are there any lasting messages you would like to send to the fans?
We love you. I think, I mean, we see you, we love you, and we're so happy that the show has touched so many people. You know, I feel like so many of us would like to, you know, have a miracle happen and have another season, but I think we're also very grateful to have had 3 seasons. Not all shows do. So yeah, I just want to hug everyone. That's my message.
Nice. Yeah, hugs are very welcome amongst the Motherland fandom. Everyone's always sending each other hugs. So I'm sending you one here on
So
behalf of the fans.
yeah, and it's kind of bittersweet
Yeah.
to see only 2 episodes left. Like I have to say, I've had the last couple weeks have been a little bit woo. It's like, okay, this is ramping up to the end, and it's yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming, but at the same time it's beautiful. And I think it's a chance, and that the creators have known that this was the last one, so I think it gave them the chance to write the ending they wanted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as you said, it may take a miracle. I wouldn't put anything out of the question, though. I think Motherland fans are capable of performing miracles.
I would love to talk about one thing though, and
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know if I can. So
please.
so I don't know. Anyways, so I don't know if you know this, but the fans, because in season 2 we didn't know what the surname of Isadora was, and then on Twitter there was a discussion, and
Yeah.
then fans decided that it would be Isadora Lamara. And then I got to set in season 2, and I actually kept my certificate of necromancy.
Wow. Isadora
And so,
Dart.
yeah, so her name is Isadora Dart, according to the
Wow.
creators. But maybe
Cool.
she can have 2 surnames. I don't know.
It can be hyphenated according to the fans or something.
It can be both. It can be both. Yes.
That is awesome. There'll be, I think, so many of the creators, the fan fiction writers and the like, will be ecstatic to know that. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, no worries. I also kept this from set, which is an image that was in my office of like the
That's beautiful.
rose. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Vocal
Wow.
folds. Yeah.
I
Anyways.
love that. We have a little game. It is called the Fort Salem Science Fair. If you're ready, then we can get into it. Basically, you have been asked to judge the inaugural Fort Salem Science Fair. I will list off some characters, and then we can talk about how they do. Would they win? Would something explode? Would they burn down the building? So let's start with Abigail. What do you think would be her niche at a science fair?
So I think for Abigail, it would be some sort of tornado in a glass.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, something.
Some sort of chemical reaction of a tornado in the glass of water.
Love it. Okay, so what do you think young Alder would have brought to a science fair?
Well, young Alder would have taught everybody else's science project, I think.
Okay, Tally. What do you think?
It would be something with electromagnetic sounds.
Okay, cool. That's very cool. I love like that, like a theremin type thing of like moving your fingers through the sound wave.
Yeah, is good. Yes.
Yeah. What about Anacostia?
Anacostia would be something that would knock everything down.
Ooh, okay, good blasting work. Nice.
Blasting work, yes. Just
Flattened things, love it.
Flattened things.
Scylla,
well, I mean, her would be probably with like a small version of bats, so maybe like a swirling of mosquito.
Ooh, like a little swarm or something.
Is that a science experiment? I'm really
maybe
like,
she's just trapped a whole lot of mosquitoes in a jar and was like, have it.
Yes, mosquitoes in the jar. Perfect.
Nice. I also I really love the image of Scylla in season 3 with all the dead animals on the table. So I had an idea in my head of her doing something with decomposition, like the decomposition process or something. Yeah.
Yes.
What about Nicta? That might be the mosquito in the jar.
Yeah, I think Nicta, mosquito in the jar, and let's keep Scylla with decomposing something.
Yeah, sure. What do you reckon Rael would do?
Well, it has to be with seeing mycelium grow in a jar.
Maybe Rael and Scylla do one half of an experiment each. Scylla does the decomposition part and Rael does the life renewing part.
I'm really happy you're on my team because I'm failing at this game.
Oh, no. We're in this together. There's no teams. We're in this together. And what do you think that young Isadora would have done for her science experiment?
I think she would keep charts and analyzing everybody else's results.
Oh, okay. I love that.
Yeah,
That
I think
tracks.
so. She would have a giant book with everybody's experiment with their photo and their title and everything well explained, I think.
So who do you think would win the science fair?
Who would win? I'm not sure who would win. Four names came to my head, so that's not really conclusive. Maybe if Scylla and Rael worked together to complete each other, maybe it would give them a leg up to be the winners. I'm not sure. Isadora.
Yeah, I think we'll call
obviously.
Isadora the winner. Thank you so much for your time, for all your energy, for being so generous with your answers, and for joining me in that silly little game, of course.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'm so sorry to everyone who will listen to this game, but or not. But they will comment and have better ideas.
Exactly. We can get them to put in the comments or send you some tweets on what they think would be the experiments. Yeah, this has just been so lovely. It's been the perfect way to start my morning. Hopefully in the future, when you're inevitably doing hundreds of different projects, we can chat again, because I would love to speak to you again if you were open to that.
Yes, I'd love that. Thank you so much for having me and for taking the time. It's brought a lot of joy to my day for sure.
I'm wishing you all of the absolute best in all of your future projects. I am holding my fingers crossed for the fans to be successful.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all the fans for your support.
Thank you. Okay, so you have a lovely day.
Thanks, you too.